Have you ever really wondered what it's like to host an exchange student? I mean, beyond all the paperwork and the logistics, what's the real emotional day-to-day journey actually feel like? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into by following one family's story through their very first year.
Just let that sink in for a second. We almost said no. That's so powerful, right? Because it really gets to the core of it. This is a massive decision. And this family, they were right there, on the verge of walking away. And that one sentence pretty much sums up the entire transformation we're about to see. Going from, I don't know about this, to, I can't imagine my life without this.
All right, so let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Because, before you get to all the inside jokes and the emotional goodbyes, every single family starts in the very same spot, wrestling with one simple but absolutely huge question.
And of course, that one big question immediately breaks down into a million smaller ones. Do any of these sound familiar to you? Are we really ready? Is our house big enough? We're so busy, how would it work? And the big one, are we even interesting enough? These are the doubts that pop into everyone's head. It's this fear that your regular, kind of boring everyday life just isn't enough. And let me tell you, that is a totally normal place to start.
But underneath all of those practical questions, there's usually the real one, right? The one that kind of keeps you up at night. It's this one. What if it's just awkward? What if we bring this person into our home and we just don't click?
And you know what? Here's the completely honest answer. For a little while, yeah, it probably will be. And that is perfectly okay. Just knowing and accepting that there's going to be an adjustment period is half the battle. It's not going to be some perfect sitcom from the moment they walk in the door. And honestly, that initial real-life awkwardness is what makes the genuine connection that comes later feel so good.
Okay, so our family, they decide to go for it. They take the leap, they say yes, and suddenly, poof, it's real. The student's actually here, standing in their house with their bags, and everything is about to change.
Now, those first few weeks, yeah, they can feel a little chaotic. But it really breaks down into these 4 stages. First, you have that big, nerve-wracking airport hello. Then you get into navigating all the little differences, right? Like finding out what they like to eat or their schedule. And yeah, there are going to be some small misunderstandings, maybe about language or culture, but honestly, most of those get solved with a laugh. And before you know it, you found a new normal. Suddenly, they're not a guest anymore, they're just part of the morning scramble to find shoes and get out the door. And this is where the real magic happens. Because at some point, and you never really see it coming, that feeling of hosting someone just fades away. It's not an effort anymore. And something else, something way deeper, starts to grow in its place.
And here's the thing. It's not some big, dramatic moment. It's not one single event you can point to. Nope. The real connection is built in all the little things. These tiny moments you barely even notice as they're happening.
Like, when you're at the grocery store and you find yourself reaching for their favorite snack, just automatically. You don't even think about it. It's just this small thing that says, hey, I get you. I'm thinking of you.
Or maybe it's trying to explain one of your family's really weird holiday traditions, and you see their eyes light up. They're not just trying to be polite. They're genuinely excited to be a part of it. That's when you know you're not just sharing a house anymore, you're sharing your life.
And then there's the first inside joke. Something gets mixed up in translation at dinner, and everybody just loses it. That shared laugh about something only you guys would get, that's the glue. That's the moment you know, okay, we've got something real here.
And all those little moments build up to this one big realization. It just hits you one day, maybe out of nowhere. That person who felt like a stranger just a little while ago, they're not a guest anymore. They're just family. This shift right here from guest to family, that's the whole point. That's everything.
So, okay, that bond is formed. They're family. But what's the lasting impact? How does this 1 year really change a family for good? Because it goes so much deeper than just having a bunch of fun memories.
This before and after really says it all, doesn't it? Your world actually gets bigger. Suddenly, a news story about some other country isn't just a headline anymore. It's about the place where your new son or daughter grew up. And your own kids? They don't just read about a different culture in a textbook. They're living with it. And they gain a brother or sister on the other side of the world for life.
And this impact, it really does touch everyone. Your own kids get this incredible global awareness that you could never teach them. The whole family ends up connecting on a deeper level because you've gone through this amazing experience together. And maybe the biggest piece of the pie right there, it's a lifelong relationship. It doesn't stop.
But of course, the year does have to come to an end. And the goodbye, well, that's often the part that families dread the most. It's right up there with worrying about that initial awkwardness at the very beginning.
But I want you to think about it this way. The title host family, that part's temporary, but the connection you build, that's permanent. So the goodbye isn't really an ending. It's more like a graduation day. It's the moment your family officially expands across the globe.
And this last thought really brings it all home. The hardest hello and the hardest goodbye. The reason that goodbye is so incredibly hard is a direct reflection of how much love was created during the year. That hurt is actually the proof of how amazing it all was, and it's exactly why pretty much every family will tell you they'd do it again in a heartbeat.
So, that leaves us with just one final thought. Every single family that does this has their own unique story, their own inside jokes, their own traditions, their own aha moments. So the only real question left to ask is, what could your family's story be?